Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to share a horrifying story with you about a serial killer who struck in the East Lansing area of Michigan in the 1970s. The reason why this story has significance now is because he has a parole hearing coming up in August of 2021, and he has already served his time he was sentenced. So, his only two known surviving victims are working to find a way to keep him behind bars because they believe he will strike again. See, their attacker, Donald Miller, who has been dubbed Mid-Michigan's Ted Bundy, confessed to murdering 4 women back in the late 70s. But he took a deal and received an incredibly light sentence. So, he is currently 65 years old. He is incarcerated in Jackson, Michigan, and he is up for parole in August of 2021. How did he manage to get an incredibly light sentence after confessing to 4 murders? I'll tell you. But first, I'll tell you that this isn't the first time an effort was made to find a way to keep Miller behind bars. After he was sentenced in 1979, he had his first parole hearing in 1997. But investigators found information in his prison file that he possessed a handmade weapon in 1994. So they were able to use that against him to keep him behind bars. If not for that discovery, his victims' families feared that he would have been already freed. Now they need a new reason to keep him behind bars in 2021 because their time is running out. Even if they keep him behind bars until all of his time is served, he is due to be released in 2031. So all in all, he will have served a total of 52 years behind bars for his crimes. Want to know how the hell that happened? Let me tell you the story. Donald Gene Miller was born on December 28, 1954, and grew up in the college town of East Lansing, Michigan. He had very strict parents. He was described as the boy next door. Very clean cut, straight laced, and he was even a youth pastor at his church during his high school years. After he graduated high school, he attended Michigan State University in his hometown of East Lansing and studied, of all things, criminal justice, which I find incredibly interesting because I also attended Michigan State University to study criminal justice. I was going to go to law school. Much later than he did, though, until I got kicked out, which I won't be discussing in this video. So I transferred to the University of Michigan, where they were much more reasonable. But anyway, people who knew Miller growing up described him as a loner. He didn't really have many friends, and his sister claimed to be his best friend. His first girlfriend, Martha Sue Young, lived close to Miller growing up, and she befriended him and his sister in school. Before they started dating, Young chose to attend college in Texas where her father lived. But after a while, she decided to return home to East Lansing and began attending Michigan State as well. After her return, she and Miller started dating, mostly attending church functions together and watching movies at each other's houses. Martha wanted to experience college life by attending parties and college events, but she said Donald had no interest in attending parties or anything like that because he was very devout to his religion. She told people it wasn't long before she started realizing that Donald was controlling. He never wanted to meet new people, and he wanted the two of them to just spend time together. And even though she told people he wasn't very fun to be around, when Donald proposed to her, she said yes. Martha's family and friends said she was excited about the proposal at first, but after a while, she got to thinking and got worried that she may have to support the two of them because Donald had never had a job before, and she really started having second thoughts about marrying him. She thought his father treated his mother pretty badly and wondered if she'd experienced the same. And he never, ever wanted to spend time with Martha's friends, even though she often wanted to. She said Donald didn't have any close friends and didn't want any, which concerned her. After a while, Martha decided she wanted to break off their engagement. She didn't feel that marrying him was right for her, but she promised him she'd go to his birthday celebration with his family, so she decided she'd wait until after his birthday to tell him. But then she couldn't wait. So after attending his birthday celebration, she broke things off with him. And he must have taken it quite well at the time, because when she tried to give him the ring back, she said he told her to keep it as a gift because he wanted to remain friends with her. Nice guy, huh? A few days later, on New Year's Eve, Martha was planning to babysit for a family from her church, and they gave her permission to have Donald over to watch a movie with her. After her babysitting job was finished for the night, Martha and Donald returned to his house for pizza and another movie. Then Donald drove Martha home, and she was never seen again. Now, this next part is very interesting. When Martha's mother woke up on New Year's Day in 1977 and realized Martha never came home the night before, she called Donald's house, but was told that she was not there. At that point, Martha's mother claimed she knew Donald had killed her. She called police, and Donald and his parents went to her house to help. She said police questioned Donald, and he answered their questions, but he didn't offer up any extra information. But, she said, he did ask her to make him some tea while he was being questioned. Nerve. When police searched his car, they completely missed a pair of women's glasses, which I assume belonged to Martha, under the passenger seat, which Donald claimed he found and destroyed before police conducted a second search of his car. Police said he took a couple of polygraphs, which showed he was being deceptive, but without any evidence, confession, or a body, all they could do was watch him to see if he slipped up and gave them any clues. They searched tirelessly for Martha, but never found anything. They even searched a park where bodies had been found previously, but their search turned up nothing, even though that was exactly where he hid Martha's body after he strangled her. 27-year-old Marita Choquette was an editorial assistant at a radio station located on Michigan State's campus. She attended the same church as Donald Miller, and she would become his next victim. On June 14, 1978, Marita went to breakfast with Donald, and she was never seen again. Her car was found the following day at the radio station where she worked on campus. People searching for Marita couldn't help but wonder if her disappearance was in any way connected to Martha's disappearance a year and a half before. 2 weeks later, police received a call from a farmer near the university campus who was clearing his field and came across a pile of bricks that hadn't been there before. When he moved the bricks, he found a human skull. When police removed the body from beneath the bricks, they found it was the body of a woman, and her hands had been severed. After they had the body processed, it was found to be the body of Miller's second victim, Marita Choquette. On the day Marita's body was found, police said surveillance officers saw Donald scrubbing the seats in his car. Then that very same day, another woman disappeared from Michigan State's campus. On June 27, 1978, 21-year-old Wendy Bush was walking on campus near Munn Ice Arena when she was approached by Donald in his car. He offered Wendy a ride and even though she didn't know him, she accepted. She was described as a happy-go-lucky person who liked to make new friends, so no one was surprised that she would accept a ride with him. He drove her to Case Hall where she lived, and the two sat in his car and talked. Miller confessed to police that he became offended when he thought Wendy was trying to seduce him, so he became angry, and he strangled her. He said he then drove around for about 30 minutes with Wendy in the front seat of his car, looking for a place to dispose of her body. He said he finally found a newly developed subdivision where he undressed her body and left her in the brush there. Then, he said, he drove home. A month and a half later, on August 14, 1978, 30-year-old Christine Stewart dropped her car off for repairs at a shop in East Lansing. She was walking home when one of her husband's friends spotted her and offered her a ride. She told him that she liked walking and politely declined. Then a witness claimed she was driving along the road where Christine was walking, and she noticed a car parked on the side of the road where a man and a woman appeared to be arguing. She told police she noticed them because they were standing outside of the car, and the man seemed to be pushing the woman inside the car. She also said she thought he was hitting her. She said she watched the argument until the man made eye contact with her. Then she drove off. Later, the witness agreed to assist police by going under hypnosis to try to recall exactly what she witnessed that day. While under hypnosis, the witness revealed that the man wasn't hitting the woman, but he was stabbing her. And he had the knife in his hand when he made eye contact with her. She had witnessed Donald Miller stabbing Christine Stewart in his car. Then he disposed of her body in a field in Clinton County, Michigan, not too far from where he hid his first victim, Martha's body. Christine's husband reported her missing that day, and police searched for her, but again, their search turned up nothing. Now they needed to find Christine Stewart, with Martha Young and Wendy Bush still missing. Then, on August 16, 1978, police finally got the unfortunate break they were waiting for, when 14-year-old Lisa Gilbert went outside her home to call for her brother, who was fishing at a nearby pond. When she went to go back inside, she was met by a man asking if her father was at home. When she told him he wasn't, he asked her for a paper and a pen so he could write their number down. When she went into her house to get them, Donald Miller followed her inside. Alone in the house with Miller, he gagged her, tied her arms and legs behind her back, and sexually assaulted her. Then he tried to strangle her with a belt, but the belt snapped. Then Lisa's brother Randy came through the door. He was greeted by Donald with a knife in his hand. Miller forced Randy upstairs to his room, where Randy claims Miller stabbed him in the chest and tried to cut his throat. As Randy fought Miller, Lisa broke free of her ties and ran outside to stop a car for help. When she told her passerby what was happening, the man approached the house to try to trap Miller inside, but he said Miller walked out of the house right past him and got in his car and drove away. Then police received the call with the description of the suspect and his car with the license plate number. They ran the plate, and the car came back registered to Donald Miller. The two victims in the home, Lisa and Randy Gilbert, are the only known surviving victims of Donald Miller. Miller was tracked down and arrested in the parking lot of his girlfriend's apartment building, and police say he acted very shocked and claimed to have no idea why he was being arrested. In May of 1979, Miller was convicted of rape and attempted murder for his attacks on Lisa and Randy Gilbert. Even though police say they suspected he murdered the 4 other women, they had no body in 3 of the cases and not enough evidence in the case of Marita Choquette to prove he was her killer. But a grand jury did indict Miller on second-degree murder charges for Martha Young and Christine Stewart. Understanding the position they were in, prosecutors went to the victims' families to explain to them that they did not have enough evidence to convict him of the murders and asked them how they wished for the prosecution to proceed. The families wanted to know where the bodies of their loved ones were, so the prosecution offered Miller a deal. He was sentenced to 30 to 50 years for the attacks on the Gilbert children, and he offered to lead investigators to the other 3 bodies of his victims for an additional 10 to 15 years, which would run concurrently to the 30 to 50 years already sentenced, meaning no additional time added to his original sentence. Makes no sense. I know. Why was it done? I don't know. Other than they were desperate to find the bodies for the family's sakes. While incarcerated, Miller confessed to killing all 4 women. He said he killed Martha because she told him she didn't love him anymore. He didn't offer a reason for murdering Marita Choquette, but said he handcuffed her and cut her hands off when he couldn't get the handcuffs off her. He claimed to have killed Wendy Bush because her advances triggered his homicidal tendencies. Then he claimed he murdered Christine Stewart because she reminded him of his ex-fiancée, Martha. In 1997, when Miller came up for parole the first time, was when the officers found the information in his file about a handmade weapon found in his cell. He was found guilty of possessing a deadly weapon in prison and was sentenced to an additional 20 to 40 years. In 2016, he went up for parole again, but was denied. He's due for another parole hearing in August of 2021. Randy Gilbert, one of the surviving Gilbert children, is hoping that a new book written about Miller called Killing Women, The True Story of Serial Killer Don Miller's Reign of Terror by author Rod Sadler, which is available on Amazon now if you're interested, can help bring some new information about the case to light to keep Miller from being released from prison. In a media interview about Sadler's new book, Randy Gilbert spoke about how it feels knowing that Miller will be up for parole again in 2021. He said it's tougher and tougher every day. He said his physical scars have healed, but the emotional wounds will never go away. And he believes if released, Miller will strike again. He said, "No one that evil can be fixed." And he should know. Thank God he and his sister survived. Let's hope Donald Miller serves every last day that he can be given in prison to pay for his crimes. His sentence was not nearly enough for the pain and agony he inflicted on so many lives. Thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on my next video.